Thanks for clicking on the video. This is UnholyVision from Venomous Pictures, and you're watching RebelTechTV, the show for the Linux community by the Linux community. I, your host, UnholyVision, am joined by these lovely guests today, and our topic is gaming. What is one of your all-time favorite games, and why?
Probably Grand Theft Auto 5. I just like it. I mean, open world, running around, doing fun stuff. I've always loved it, and I've been playing Grand Theft Auto since the original first one, and been through all of them. I love the stories, and it's just goofy, and I have a good time with it, and a lot of friends like it. So, but I've also spent quite a bit of time playing an MMORPG back in the old days, good old days called Night Online. I doubt anyone's familiar with that one, but that was a lot of fun back in like 04. But lately, I don't know. I kind of got out of games for whatever reason.
MMOs were the ticket back in the day. I mean, you had MMO, what was it, Tropical or something, Hub and stuff. They had all these websites just dedicated to MMOs.
Yep.
MMO Hut. MMOHut.com.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I topped so many MMOs back in that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have any favorites?
MMO, probably Star Wars Galaxy, I think it was.
Nice.
Ragnarok Online over here.
There you go.
Yeah. Wait,
Savvy. Play that a little bit.
I got a quick question for Savvy though. Favorite Grand Theft Auto game?
Ooh, man, that's hard.
Yeah.
Shoot, I think San Andreas is where it's like all changed, man. That's what I loved about it.
I knew it.
I don't know, but I like the Vice City vibe as well. I don't know.
That's my favorite. Vice City's my favorite.
Is it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then San Andreas right behind it.
Okay, yeah. Cool. We align.
Sorry, I had to ask that question.
No,
I
appreciate it.
I actually like the top-down ones more in some ways.
GTA 2 was one of my favorites. Yeah. The top-down one. I love that.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
They were good too.
But it just seemed like they segmented after. It got worse and worse over time.
Yeah, I could agree. But at the same token, like, it was so crazy when they went from 2 to 3. You know, like Liberty City. That's where it was like wild. Because you're like, I mean, that was leaps and bounds, man. You go from this overhead view to 3D, and you're just like, wow.
It was a decent game back in the day. I kind of fell out when it went, Nico, get a phone call. Nico, your phone's ringing.
Yeah. Like, I hate my cell phone right now. Why are you putting it in my video games?
I've been gaming for a wicked long time, since the early 80s. So it's hard to really pinpoint, but the Dreamcast had a game called Grandia 2. That's like one of my favorite RPGs. Unbelievable.
You get that on Steam?
What, Grandia 2? Yeah. Yep. And for any other game on the Uncharted series, I wish that came to the PC. That would have been that. Well, that's the only thing missing.
Send a whole bunch of chain letters to Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Uncharted is okay. I'm hit or miss on those as well.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Uncharted. That led me into the new Tomb Raider. I remember I was skeptical at first, then I played Uncharted, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then Tomb Raider, I was like, oh, this is yes. Yeah. I'll write that letter with you, LinuxCity. I'll sign the petition. Let's get on.
See, the funny thing is I never got into Tomb Raider, the original ones, until the new ones came out. When the new ones came out, that was it. I was like,
the Tomb Raiders were the older ones. I did like a few of them on the PSX, the PlayStation, but then I skipped a whole generation, and then I came right back to them when they went to Eidos became Square Enix, you know.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that's kind of how it happened for me as well. Like, I think Tomb Raider 2 was the first one I played, and it was just really clunky, and I was a young child, so I didn't know what the heck I was doing. and then I played Chronicle, got a little bit more familiar, then
Mm-hmm.
didn't come back till I think Legend and Underworld came out when they rebooted it the first time. And then this new reboots when I fell in love with it. So I understand. It's a tough question, but I'm gonna have to say Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It took everything I love about Zelda and action adventure games and just put them into one game. I don't have any complaints aside from the fact that it's only on Switch. If that game was on PC, the things that I know that people have been messing with CMU and everything now, but if it was just on Steam, I don't think I'd play anything else. And then followed by, but that's a console thing, and then on PC I would have to say Dark Souls 3, and the entire Dark Souls series, but Dark Souls 3 in particular.
Dark Souls is pretty good. But have you played Code Vein?
I've not. I've been waiting because the Proton reviews are kind of hit or miss. Now I saw your video talking about some of the performance. I'm like, let me wait. Let's give it some time. I did just finish Sekiro though.
Sekiro, yeah. I still got to go back to that myself, but pretty fun.
Jump back. How far did you get in that?
About the probably middle of the game.
Yeah, like it slowed down for me, I think, around the same spot, and then I stopped playing for a couple months, and then it's like this past week I jumped back into it, and things just like it was like a roller coaster ride. Like we were at that middle ground is the peak, and then you're just gonna go down a crazy rush after that.
Nice.
So it picks up.
Yeah, I just so many other games started coming out at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got Code Vein. And I'm like sinking hours into that, and then
I was just about to ask, like, how? So
and I was co-oping that
better?
too. Yeah.
Is it performing better now, or you still running into some of the issues?
It's still kind of a hiccup, and I had a few people commenting saying that yes, it happens on Windows as well.
Okay.
So it's something to do with the Unreal Engine. I don't know exactly the main details on it, but it is just happening for everybody, unfortunately.
As long as it's playable, it's on my wish list right now. I was just like waiting. I was waiting for you to put out like a follow-up video or check Proton DB to see if like the rating increases. But I will be getting that. We will be co-oping soon.
Probably my all-time favorite game was Tribes 2. Star Siege, Tribes, all that. I wish the people that bought up the license that made Global Dynamic, I think the game was called, and made it into an MMO, didn't have their hands on it. I really like that Tribe Siege, Tribe's Vengeance. If anybody has actually played that.
I have not. I've seen Tribes 2. I thought this was an MMO for the longest time based on the way it looks. So
it's a shooter.
I missed out.
There's actually I don't know if it's still running, but a community-driven version of it where you could download it and run off their servers after it went down. But the original is not the original, because the original had, at least Tribes 2, had a form built into the game, websites basically for your tribes, and everything like in there, and the key components to really drive your groups and everything inside of it. So you didn't have to go and make a whole website for anything. It was a pretty slick game on that regard too.
That's awesome. Was this PC only, or was this on consoles?
It actually had a Linux version as well.
Oh, in the day. What? Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's like I said, you can. I don't know if it's still up, but it's worth a look, I guess, if you're actually interested in it.
I was gonna say I got a video idea for you, a Tribes 2 retrospective. I'd definitely watch that.
Just kind of segue into this. Have any of you actually used Remote Play yet? Together, Steam? I know LinuxCity and me tried. And you are muted, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it didn't work out that hot then.
But I think they updated it now,
Yeah.
so I think it should be all right now for a second go around if you want to try again.
Yeah, definitely. I've been playing with a few people like that. That I was talking about ahead of time earlier. I've been playing that with a buddy through that. He's on Linux as well.
I love that. I love that game. The game's wicked cool.
Hey, we should all do like a group game of that, because they have, I think it's like 50-man online co-op now for A Hat in Time. if y'all are down. Let me, I'm not.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'd be fun.
Chaos.
But yeah, that whole remote play deal, man, that was a headache. And I found out there is a fix though. You still running Manjaro right now, LinuxCity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Are you using the stable or the one that actually uses the Steam that uses your actual runtime, the runtime one that uses your actual system libraries?
I think I'm just using the regular one. I don't think I'm using.
Yeah, I was trying to stream myself to some people, and as soon as I use that runtime one, boom, fixed everything. It's crazy. You used what is recommended by Steam, crapped out.
Wow.
Yeah, so I actually got a chance to try remote play this weekend, so Friday, with another fellow Linux YouTuber, HexDSL. So we did a stream, tested out 3 games. Cannot remember the 2 racing games names, 'cause I've never played them before, but they're similar to Outrun if you've played that back in the day, in the arcades or on Sega Genesis. But we did a co-op play of the first racing game. It worked flawlessly, not an issue. The only 2 caveats there is that initially there's a bit of pixelation when you're playing, and that could also be because of his location. Like, he's in the UK, over here in the States, so it could be that, and he was the host, so that may have been the problem. And then slight input lag. I don't think it was really that deep as I probably wouldn't play a fighting game over remote play. Probably just gonna get wiped easily on that. But with the racing game, it didn't hinder the experience at all. It was really smooth. The other 2 games, however, we ran into gamepad issues, which was weird. So the racing game, the second racing game, for whatever reason, it made me player 1, and then my DualShock 4 control, like, everything was just off. So directional buttons weren't working. I think X would move the icons up and down, and so it was chaos. And then he had no control at all, so that was a problem. And then Salt and Sanctuary, we were going to give that a shot too, because that's local co-op only. But we both forgot that you need to advance a certain point in the story in order to be able to access that. So we didn't get a chance to test that out. But the stream did work, so I was still able to watch his playthrough via Steam as we were testing out remote play. We have not tested out Linux to Windows or Windows to Linux yet, though. So I don't know if that's working yet. I heard that had
that does work. For sure.
Sweet.
That was the first thing that actually worked before they fixed the Linux to Linux connection.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
I was actually doing that with someone I know from Germany. And my input lag streaming to him was 1 millisecond.
Oh.
So it was actually pretty nice. But pixelation is a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I had a few of the little remote control issues as well, like you're talking about. The whole my controller takes over that, but it really depended on the game. It seems like some of these developers are just pushing the button, going, yeah, implement that into my game, not really testing it. And it comes down to like how they're controlling the game in terms of the control SDK.
Were you bothered at all by the audio from the host? Did you guys run into that problem where, I don't know if you were using Discord to communicate while you were playing?
So you get
the overlap.
where you get the audio out of that. Yeah, it just grabs your your actual desktop environment from Pulse. Yeah, that's a problem. But the biggest solution I found with that is just changing the default input and then kind of like virtually mapping it back to where I want to have it.
Oh, okay.
It's convoluted, but it's a way to fix it. But
I just fired up Pabu Control and muted it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fired up Pabu Control and just muted it because we both did that. We're just like, this is
the best way that I've found was just talking through Steam, because when you do the talk through there, it just finds a way to fix it.
Oh, okay. I wonder if Valve's doing that on purpose to discourage people from using Discord. I'm kidding.
Surprise me.
I'm kidding.
Google Stadia, what do you think about that? And will anything trickle down to the GNU/Linux community?
I'm gonna probably wait before I have an opinion on that, but I don't. It's hard to tell with Google, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I think it'll help Linux? It could. It depends. Because we definitely do need AAA titles. I mean, even though we got Proton and stuff like that, but it would be nice to just be able to have, you know, those extra games there.
Mhm.
But I think Stadia might help it out. We'll just have to wait and see when it comes out, unless Google fumbles that, and then that's it. It's all over.
Yeah, I know you had an opinion on it, and then everybody was like,
yeah, and a
they
lot
attacked
of people, oh man, the pitchforks were out.
You know pretty much my opinion on that. I gave you that big, nice comment.
Well, I don't know that I can speak too much on this. I mean, it's interesting that they're coming out with this, you know, what they call a cloud gaming service, but it just seems like, I don't know that Google might not be the ones that do it right. I think someone else might swoop in and actually do it better than they would, possibly Microsoft or something, where they have experience already in kind of the gaming space and you know, bringing people together in multiplayer. But you know, that's, who knows what the future is going to bring there. But eventually, yeah, I think it's going to help the Linux community, because, you know, you just, it doesn't matter what you use, you know, you just need a system, and what better thing to use than a free system with, you know, amazing customization abilities. I mean, I could definitely see it as a game changer. But, you know, I think it's still got quite a bit of development there, because I think they're going to be the first to, you know, to introduce this technology and stuff, but I don't necessarily think that Google is going to be the one to execute it right.
Well, you know, there was on live, so they beat the Google.
Yeah, so I'm interested in seeing it happen. Like, you know, just because it's not new technology, but with Google's funding and, you know, the engineers that they have on staff, it might be implemented a bit better than other folks who have tried it in the past. And I really do like the idea of being able to play AAA games on any device I own. You know, you're wandering around outside and you want to throw on Witcher 3 or something while you're out in public, because that makes sense. Do it, you know? Having the option is great. I like that there are more options for gaming, but one of the things that I'm concerned with is kind of like digital distribution, right? We don't really see games on shelves as much as we used to. Everybody gets their stuff online, they download it to their system. What I'm worried about is like 15 years from now, 20 years from now, when everyone has high-speed internet, everyone is on fiber, and we you know, everyone is getting like gigabit, everyone has a gigabit connection. What happens to gaming at that point? Will it be an always online experience? And that is the only concern I have. If this does take off, which I don't think it will right away, like LinuxCity, I agree with both LinuxCity and Savvy. I don't think that this is going to pop off right away. Someone else is going to be the one to make this big. But that's another reason why I'm interested in this being successful, because it might cause Valve to do the one thing I've been hoping Valve would continue to do, and that's encouraging them to offer more ways to play for those on other systems. So this might light, you know, fire under them to make sure that Linux is a competitive gaming platform. They might just, you know, something may happen. I don't know how or when, but something may cause Valve to go and say, let's start putting more resources behind Linux, because it's a free operating system. Someone can just go download this. They don't need to, you know, have an always online connection to be able to play games. They can install Linux, get Steam, download any game, any AAA game they want, and play it on the fly. No need to stream it. It's just there. So hopefully Google is breeding some competition that'll, you know, make gaming more awesome. And I'm always down for more options. Just need it to not take over and become the only one. Again, fingers crossed. This is hope that's not the case.
Definitely. And the future of it, I think even if we have these amazing gigabyte internet speeds, we're going to have 8K, 9K, and then we're going to have all those packages from Google. They're going to be like, you know, pay a little more.
How can we nickel and dime you all?
Yeah, they'll make it into an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying they're going to try making it into an ecosystem before long. You know, they want to They want to earn the most money off of everything that they can.
Well, they already are. I mean, if you look at it, people go around saying, well, it's not trying to replace anything, but they have 3 exclusives.
Right, exactly.
It's like, okay. I mean, they're not the best games in the world, but they're cool little games, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, do you guys know much about their like cloud services today? Like, if you rent a server from them or anything like that?
Kind of, but not much.
Kind of, yeah. So that's an interesting play on things too, because I mean, of course, it's a natural progression that they get into the gaming side of things, but you know, they already have the servers and everything like that to do cloud computing and offer you cloud computing. The interesting part is that they just got late in the game because you also have different platforms that are more well known, such as AWS, the Amazon side of things, and then you got Azure, the Microsoft side of things. So I'm just interested why those in particular ones haven't really announced anything yet, but I just think it's got to be on the horizon because it's just an untapped market at this point.
Well, there is Game Pass, right?
Game Pass, and who's that by?
Microsoft.
That's Microsoft, yeah.
But it's
and
not
is that
games, yeah. It's rent games, basically. I haven't used it myself, but
right. But
go ahead.
Is that also sort of the same, similar to how Stadia is going to work, where it's like you use any kind of device that you want and you can stream a game basically?
Not entirely, no.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I think, like I said, I haven't used it personally, but I know you have to have like Windows 10 to use it on the computer, and then an Xbox. So I don't know if you can do anything further than that, but you basically pay, I think it was $9 a month, and you get unlimited access.
So it's more akin to, I think it's PlayStation Now. They have something similar. Yeah.
I see.
That's basically on Live, because I think PlayStation bought On Live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that's where their PlayStation Now comes from. So that's interesting.
Hey, it works on Linux now.
Yeah. Works on Linux, if you want to go down that road.